Hi creatives, I'm Claire from Right Accounts, and in this video I'm going to talk about a few ways to prepare for the unexpected. And this topic has been on my list for a while, and I thought it would be a good time to write about it and talk about it. So expect the unexpected, they say. Well, how when you don't know what to expect? And it's really not helpful advice. So I thought I'd share some specific tips with you. Now, there are different ways that this unexpected can show up in your business or in your personal life. Whether that's your social media channel being banned, your latest craft show being cancelled, the economy, your website crashing, there's lots of different ways that these can come up that you can prepare for with some tips that will obviously be finance. So the first one is budgeting, and I'm sorry to say this, but it really can help you. So I've written and videoed extensively about budgeting and specific ways to budget and the fact that your budget should be flexible. So I thought instead of talking more about budgets, I'd just tell you a couple of the ways I like to review budgets. And obviously you need budgets in your personal and your business life, and this advice applies to both. So the first way is to check the values and the percentages. So the values, the dollar figures. The percentages, what that dollar figure represents as a proportion of your total budget. So for example, in a personal budget, if you allocate $120 a week for groceries and your income after taxes is $1,200 a week, then 10% of your budget is going on groceries. This can be really helpful to be able to see that bigger picture beyond just the dollar figure, because it can show us what's reasonable. So if we allocate 50%, for example, to putting a roof over our heads, guidelines on whether that's reasonable would suggest it's actually quite high. So kind of accommodation really should be in that 30 to 40%. So we can check then these percentages against what's reasonable. If we've got too much in discretionary, maybe we don't have enough in savings. Now, the second perspective when I like to do budgets is fixed expenses and variable expenses, as well as fixed income and variable income. So some costs remain the same regardless of the amount that you use. For example, council taxes, monthly insurance premiums, subscriptions, etc. Those would be your fixed costs. You can't change them by reducing your consumption of them. And then on the other hand, so variable costs are costs that change based on how much you use them. Groceries, transport, even energy like electricity or gas. And then having an understanding of these can help you to see where you can adjust your budget if something does happen. For example, you'll know that you can't change most of those fixed expenses, but you can do something to change those variable expenses. So having and using a budget overall really puts you in control of your money, and you can slightly relax when you're in a good money position. But when it's not so great, you have that budget to fall back on and you can quickly put that into place. So my second tip is cash reserves. And I know we'd all love to sit on a little cash nest egg right now, but wishing and making it happen are two different things. And I get that it's potentially a little late to start creating your rainy day fund now, but use this as a time to learn the lesson. So when things go back to normal, which hopefully they will, you can start making this rainy day fund. And you can do this both in personal and in business. So you can have a rainy day fund in your business for when business is not going so great, and a rainy day fund in personal for if something else happens and you need money in your personal life. And again, this comes back to number one, budgets. Finding a budget that's reasonable, that will allow you to contribute to this rainy day fund, is going to be how you make this happen. And if you really struggle with savings, try to make it the first thing that comes out of your income or from your business. And if you're really, really not good at saving, maybe actually take it to a separate bank, like a different bank institution, or put it into an account where you can't see it all the time online. So my third tip is live within your means. Now this, again, may be a little bit late for the current condition, but use this as a point from which to pivot. Going through your expenses now, you really can see what's absolutely necessary and what's desirable and allocate your funds to them accordingly. Now may not be the perfect time to chop up your credit card, but I'm sure it's the perfect time to assess where your hard-earned cash is going. So try adding up your expenses over the last 6 to 12 months and compare them with your income. How does that make you feel? Are you empowered by those numbers? Are you not empowered by those numbers? Remember to take into account any out of sequence expenses or investments like holidays you've been saving up for. But overall, you want to make sure that what's coming in is greater than what's going out. And then my last tip is the kind of most privileged, and that is to take or try a positive perspective. Now, trying times can really help us to build self-resilience. And one of the ways to do that is to focus on what you can control. You can control how much news you consume and from what source. So if the news is stressing you out, try cutting back on it. You can also look for more active things that you control. Maybe starting an edible garden on your kitchen window ledge to save on groceries and to give you some activities that you can do in the house and that you'll see tangible results from. You can also control the opportunities you have for making cash. So maybe trying to find ways to earn a little bit extra, because you can only cut your expenses so far. But in terms of income, we really kind of have a lot of opportunities out there to be able to earn cash. So try to think of a few ways you can put structure and control back into your life. Focus on what's important to you and in line with your values. Now, I will say it's okay to be scared and anxious, but the best use for that energy is productive action that helps you to deal with the situation. So a lot of this is things that need to be put into place before the unexpected happens. So what if it's too late to prepare? So my first one would be practical. Review your expenses, personal and business. Are these necessary or nice? Change them, reduce them, cut back where you can. So practical ideas: can you switch your energy company? Have you getting the best mobile phone plan? Any digital subscriptions? Do you need those? Secondly, review the services you aren't paying for and check if you can pause them or receive a credit, and make sure you know what your rights are. So practical ideas for this: any monthly in-person memberships like gyms, any events, any holidays, and anything really that's been cancelled by the supplier. Thirdly, pledge or start to replenish that emergency fund, that rainy day fund. Make sure you know the amount you need, set your intention, and work towards it. Remembering that small steps will get you there eventually. And then look around you for value. So there may be things that you've forgotten about, that you didn't want at the time, that may become useful now. What's in the back of the kitchen cupboard? What's in the back of the wardrobe? So maybe some unused gift cards or credits on something that you've returned. Maybe you do have those unwanted gifts that you can now re-gift or sell to somebody else. And check your product business, if you have one, for inventory or supplies that aren't already available as products for sale. And then lastly, and this kind of is an ongoing one really, is look for additional income streams, even if they are minor. Having a little bit coming in can give you pocket money in good time, and it can actually help you build that rainy day fund as well. So a few practical ideas: there are online surveys that pay, market research that pays. Maybe you want to get into freelance writing or even selling your digital photographs. There are lots and lots of ways and lots of videos on the internet on practical ideas for additional income. Now, if you do need support, you need a tea, I'm happy to have a tea with you. Just drop me a line and we can line that up. So if you've enjoyed this video, and it is a little bit longer than my usual videos, give me a thumbs up or a comment. You can subscribe to the channel, you can receive notifications, you can visit my website, and you can always get in touch.